Will a speeding ticket raise your insurance? I'm John Cohen, partner at Next Law, Ontario's speeding ticket law firm. Does a speeding ticket raise your insurance in Ontario? If it turns into a conviction, it is very likely that it could, and not just once, for years. Insurers don't rate the ticket or your demerit points, they rate the conviction, and it stays on your record for 3 years, up to 6 if it's serious. A single conviction could run a few hundred to over $1,000 across all 3 of those years, and insurers treat speeding tickets as a real signal, not a paperwork ticket. A higher speed conviction or a second ticket could climb into the thousands, even doubling your premium or pushing you into high-risk insurance. The fine is the cheap one-time cost. The conviction is what keeps costing you. How much does insurance go up with a speeding ticket in Ontario? It depends on the conviction, not the ticket. And there are 2 hits, not one. Based on what Ontario insurers and brokers publish, a single speeding conviction under 30 could run a clean record driver anywhere from about 5 to 25% at renewal, depending on the insurer. Some just strip your conviction-free discount, usually 5 to 10%, if you have 1 to lose. Others stack a surcharge on top of that. Push past 30 over, and that range climbs roughly 15 to 50%. Cross 50 over, and it's a different world, 100% or more, and a real chance that your insurer simply won't renew you, which drops you into the high-risk market where rates can run into 2 or 3 times higher. Notice what's missing from all of that, your demerit points. Insurers don't rate points. They can't even see them. What insurers actually react to is speeding as a risk signal. They rate it far more aggressively than a paperwork offense like an expired sticker, because speeding is what correlates with serious claims. And keep the fine in proportion. The most recent Ontario Court of Justice data shows the average speeding fine ordered was about $148, a one-time cost. The conviction behind it could quietly cost you hundreds of dollars a year, every year for 3 years. How long do speeding tickets affect insurance in Ontario? 3 years from the date of the conviction, not the date you got the ticket. And if it's a serious one or it comes with suspension, that can stretch to 6. Here's what makes it worse than a one-time hit. It re-rates you at every renewal in that window. Ontario policies are locked in for a year at a time, so the conviction lands on your first renewal after it registers, then the second, and then the third. 3 cycles of paying more before it finally drops off. And don't confuse it with your points. Demerit points come off your record in 2 years through the Ministry of Transportation. The conviction your insurer rates is a separate clock, 3 years, sometimes 6. So you can have a driver whose points are long gone, who's stunned, their insurance bill is still carrying the conviction. Put a rough number on it. On a typical Ontario premium, around $2,400, rate comparison data puts a common speeding conviction at around 15%, about $360 a year, which is roughly $1,100 over the 3 years, and that's before you count the loss discount on top. That's why the fine was cheap, so I just paid it can turn out to be the expensive decision. Is it worth it to fight a speeding ticket in Ontario? Often, yes, because the insurance keys off the conviction, and the conviction is the one part of this you can still change. The fine is set and the speed on the radar is what it is, but whether it becomes a conviction on your record and what kind is still open. And it's contestable at real scale. The most recent Ontario Court of Justice data shows that province-wide, roughly 1 in 9 speeding charges the courts finished were withdrawn, dropped, not convicted. That's not a courtroom drama acquittal. It's an ordinary result of working a file properly. Here's what that looks like. Take a driver who's got a speeding ticket of 45 over. That's 4 demerit points and a serious step up the speeding ladder, the kind of charge insurers react to the hardest. We use a strategy we call tiered mitigation, pushing the charge down that ladder of seriousness, and we get there with sustained pressure, working the evidence and the process until the system has a real reason to deal. Done right, that can move a charge like that down the ladder, often off the speeding conviction altogether, sometimes to a non-speeding outcome, occasionally withdrawn outright. We can't promise you a number at renewal. Nobody can see your insurer's math, but clients have come back and told us their renewal showed no increase at all. Some of them say so in our Google reviews. That's the outcome we're working toward. Not a smaller speeding conviction, but ideally not a speeding conviction at all. And that's the one line most places that fight speeding tickets won't say out loud. Any firm that promises you a specific dollar savings on your insurance is guessing. Nobody can see your insurer's formula. What can actually be changed is the thing your insurer reacts to, the conviction. Does paying a speeding ticket raise your insurance in Ontario? It can. Paying is the fastest route to a conviction. The most recent Ontario Court of Justice data shows more than half of Ontario speeding charges are closed by drivers simply prepaying and paying as a guilty plea. So the conviction lands straight on your record, which is what your insurer rates. Does a 15 over speeding ticket affect your insurance in Ontario? On its own, a 15 over may not raise your base rate, but it could cost you on your conviction-free discount. And here's the catch. A 15 over carries no demerit points at all, yet it's still a minor conviction. The points aren't what your insurer is reacting to. The conviction is. What happens to my insurance after a second speeding ticket in Ontario? The second conviction is usually where real surcharges land. Often another 10 to 20% on top of the first, and a third within 3 years can push you right out of the standard insurance altogether into a high-risk market where premiums can more than double. Got a speeding ticket in Ontario? Don't pay it yet. Not every ticket is worth fighting, but every ticket is worth checking. Use our free calculator below. 7 quick questions to see how much your insurance could go up. Get your numbers first, then if that makes sense, book a free call for a straight answer. Both links are below.